Stillness is not the absence of sound. It is not simply sitting motionless. True stillness is something deeper. It is the quiet that exists beneath all movement, beneath all noise, even beneath our own thoughts. It is always present, though we rarely notice it. Most people think of stillness as something passive, something empty. But stillness is not an absence. It is a presence. It is the space in which all things arise and disappear. Just as the sky holds the clouds, stillness holds everything that happens in our lives. It is not limited by time or place. It is always here, waiting for us to notice it. Many of us fear stillness without realizing it. We surround ourselves with distractions, filling our days with activity and noise. We check our phones, turn on the TV, or keep busy with endless tasks. It feels uncomfortable to stop. When we sit in stillness, we begin to hear the voices inside us, our worries, our regrets, our desires. But if we have the courage to stay, we discover something surprising. Beyond the restless mind, there is peace. Stillness is not something we create. It is not something we achieve through effort. It is something we return to. Like a river that flows quietly beneath the surface of a busy city, stillness is always here, beneath our thoughts and emotions. It does not depend on our surroundings. Whether we are in a noisy marketplace or a quiet mountain temple, the stillness within us remains unchanged. When we touch this stillness, we experience the world differently. Sounds become clearer. Colors seem more vivid. We feel more alive, not because we are doing more, but because we are truly present. We begin to see that stillness is not separate from life. It is the foundation of life itself. Stillness does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean withdrawing from the world. It means being fully present, allowing life to unfold without resistance. It is the source of clarity, wisdom, and true peace. If you sit quietly for a moment and listen, not to the noise, but to the silence beneath it, you may begin to sense it. This is the quiet power of stillness. We live in a world that values movement. From the moment we wake up, we are encouraged to do more, achieve more, and always stay busy. Productivity is seen as success. Resting is often considered laziness. Even when we have a quiet moment, we feel the urge to check our phones, to scroll through news or messages, to keep our minds occupied. But have you ever asked yourself, why? Why do we feel uncomfortable with stillness? Why do we fill every gap in our day with activity, even if it is meaningless? We chase busyness because we believe it gives our lives purpose. If we are doing something, we feel important. We feel needed. But beneath this busyness, there is often a deeper truth. We are running away. Running from uncertainty. Running from loneliness. Running from ourselves. Busyness distracts us from the discomfort of simply being. When we are busy, we do not have to face our fears or listen to our inner doubts. We avoid the silence where those thoughts might arise. But this escape is temporary. The moment we stop, those feelings return, and so we keep moving, thinking that more activity will bring us peace. Yet no matter how much we do, peace never arrives. True peace does not come from doing more. It comes from realizing that we do not need to do anything to be complete. The constant need to prove ourselves is an illusion. We do not have to earn our worth through endless activity. We are already enough, just as we are. When we slow down, we may feel restless at first. But if we continue, we begin to see that life is not asking us to be constantly busy. A tree does not rush to grow. A river does not force itself to flow. They follow their natural path. In the same way, we can learn to let go of unnecessary busyness and trust that life unfolds in its own time. This does not mean we should stop working or give up our responsibilities. It means we approach life with awareness. Instead of rushing from one task to another, we pause. We notice what we are doing. We do it with presence. Busyness without awareness is a form of escape. Stillness with inactivity is true freedom. When we realize this, we stop running. And when we stop running, we finally find the peace we were searching for all along. Many people believe that stillness is only found in special places, deep in the mountains, in a quiet monastery, or during long meditation retreats. They think they must escape from their daily lives to experience it. But stillness is not something we need to search for. It is already here, in the middle of our ordinary days. You do not need to sit in meditation for hours to find stillness. You can find it in simple moments. When you wake up in the morning, before reaching for your phone, pause. Feel the weight of your body on the bed. Listen to the quiet of the early morning. Notice your breath. This is stillness. When you drink your morning tea or coffee, instead of drinking quickly while thinking about your schedule, slow down. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. Notice the taste, the scent. Be fully present with it. This is stillness. Even in the middle of a busy day, stillness is always available. When walking from one place to another, instead of rushing, feel your steps on the ground. Feel the air against your skin. Look up at the sky. For just a few moments, stop thinking and simply experience where you are. Stillness does not mean stopping all activity. It means being fully present in whatever you are doing. Whether you are washing dishes, driving a car, or speaking with a friend, you can do it with awareness. When you are present, there is no need to rush. Time seems to slow down, and a quiet sense of peace arises naturally. One of the simplest ways to return to stillness is through the breath. The breath is always with us, yet we rarely notice it. When you feel overwhelmed or restless, pause and take a slow, deep breath. Feel the air moving in and out. This small moment of awareness brings you back to the present. Finding stillness does not require special conditions. It does not depend on silence or isolation. It is about shifting how we experience life. Instead of being caught in endless thoughts, we learn to be where we are. We learn to see that stillness is not separate from movement. It is the space within which life unfolds. The more we bring stillness into small moments, the more it becomes part of us. Over time, we realize that stillness is not something we practice. It is something we remember. It has always been there, waiting for us to notice. In our daily lives, we rely on thinking to solve problems, make decisions, and understand the world. We analyze, plan, and seek answers through logic. This way of thinking is useful, but it has limits. Some of the most important truths in life cannot be grasped by thought alone. They must be experienced directly. This is where the wisdom of stillness begins. When we allow ourselves to be still, something shifts. Without effort, without searching, insights begin to arise. It is like a muddy pond that becomes clear when left undisturbed. In stillness, our minds settle, and we begin to see things as they really are, not as we imagine them to be. Often, when faced with a difficult decision, we feel pressured to think harder, to analyze every possibility. But sometimes, the more we think, the more confused we become. Have you ever had the experience of struggling with a problem, only to find the answer suddenly appear when you stop trying so hard? This is the power of stillness. When we let go of the need to force an answer, clarity arises naturally. Stillness also allows us to see beyond the surface of life. We begin to notice the impermanence of all things, how emotions come and go, how thoughts arise and disappear, how life itself is constantly changing. Instead of resisting this truth, we learn to accept it. This acceptance brings a deep sense of peace. Through stillness, we also become more aware of the space between our thoughts. Normally, we are so identified with our thinking that we believe we are our thoughts. But when we observe closely, we see that thoughts come and go, like clouds passing through the sky. And if thoughts are like clouds, then we must be something greater, something vast and unchanging, like the sky itself. This realization is not something we can understand with logic alone. It is something we must experience. And this experience does not come through effort. It comes through stillness. The wisdom of stillness is not about gathering more knowledge. It is about uncovering what has always been there. When we stop trying to control everything, when we allow ourselves to simply be, we begin to see clearly. And in that clarity, we discover a truth deeper than words can express. Many people think of stillness as something solitary, something that separates us from others. But true stillness does not isolate us. It deepens our connection. When we become still, we do not withdraw from life. We become more present with it. We become more open to the people around us. In daily life, we are often distracted. When speaking with someone, our minds wander. We think about what we will say next, or what we need to do later. We may look at our phones while someone is talking to us. Even when surrounded by others, we are not fully present. We are not truly connected. But when we cultivate stillness, we learn to listen, not just with our ears, but with our whole being. We begin to hear not only the words, but also the emotions behind them. We sense what is left unspoken. When we are truly present with someone, they feel it. They feel seen, heard, and valued. This is a rare gift in a world full of distractions. Stillness also allows us to connect more deeply with nature. When we walk through a forest or sit by the ocean, we often carry our busy minds with us. We may be physically there, but mentally, we are elsewhere. But if we become still, something shifts. We begin to notice the details, the sound of the wind, the movement of the leaves, the vastness of the sky. We realize that nature is not separate from us. We are part of it. And in that realization, a deep sense of belonging arises. Most importantly, stillness helps us connect with ourselves. Many of us go through life feeling disconnected from who we really are. We become lost in roles, responsibilities, and expectations. But when we are still, we begin to remember. We remember that beneath all the noise of the world, beneath all the thoughts and emotions, there is something deeper, something steady, peaceful, and whole. This connection with ourselves, with others, and with the world does not come from effort. It does not come from trying to be different. It comes naturally when we stop running, when we allow ourselves to simply be. Stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is the space where true connection is born. When we touch this stillness, we are no longer separate. We are no longer alone. We are part of something vast, something infinite, something that has always been here, waiting for us to notice. Stillness is not something we practice only in quiet moments. It is not something we experience only when we are alone or in peaceful surroundings. Stillness can become the foundation of how we live. It can be present in everything we do. Many people think of stillness as a temporary state, something they find during meditation, a walk in nature, or a moment of silence. But when they return to daily life, they leave it behind. They become caught in the rush of responsibilities, distractions, and constant thinking. They forget that stillness is always available. To embrace stillness as a way of life, we must change how we see it. Stillness is not the opposite of action. It is not separate from movement. It is the space within which life unfolds. A river moves, yet beneath the surface there is deep stillness. A tree sways in the wind, yet its roots remain steady. We too can move through life with a quiet steadiness, no longer controlled by restlessness or fear. This does not mean withdrawing from the world. It does not mean avoiding challenges or responsibilities. It means approaching everything with presence, without resistance. Whether we are working, speaking, or making decisions, we can do so with a sense of calm. We no longer react impulsively to every situation. Instead, we respond with clarity. Living with stillness also means learning to let go of control. We often struggle against life, trying to shape it to our desires. We try to force outcomes, fearing uncertainty. But the more we struggle, the more restless we become. When we embrace stillness, we trust life. We understand that we do not need to control everything. We move forward with awareness, but without force. This shift does not happen overnight. It is a gradual unfolding. The more we bring stillness into our daily lives, the more natural it becomes. Over time, we begin to notice something profound. Stillness is not just a practice. It is our true nature. Beneath all the noise, beneath all the movement, we have always been still. And when we live from this place of stillness, we discover something unexpected. Life becomes lighter. Joy arises effortlessly. Peace is no longer something we seek. It is something we carry within us, wherever we go. Stillness is not something outside of us. It is not something we must search for or achieve. It is always here, beneath the surface of our thoughts and emotions. When we begin to notice it, life changes. We no longer feel controlled by restlessness or the need to always do more. We find clarity, peace, and a deeper connection with the world around us. This journey does not require perfection. Some days we may feel calm and centered. Other days we may feel caught in distractions and worries. But stillness is never far away. No matter how busy life becomes, no matter how noisy the world around us seems, we can always return to it. A single breath, a quiet moment of awareness, is enough to remind us. There is no right way to practice stillness. It does not belong to any one tradition or belief. It is a natural part of being human. Whether we experience it in silence, in movement, in work, or in rest, what matters is that we notice it, that we allow ourselves to rest in the space that has always been within us. Thank you for taking this time to reflect with me. Your presence here is deeply appreciated. If you have found meaning in these words, I am grateful. Your support, through your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, and even through super thanks, means a great deal. It is a reminder that even in the vastness of the digital world, genuine connections can be made. May you carry stillness with you, not as something separate from life, but as the quiet strength that is always within you. And may peace find you wherever you are.